The Menendez brothers' case, involving Lyle and Erik Menendez, captivated the nation in the early 1990s when they were convicted of murdering their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, in their Beverly Hills mansion. While much of the case has been widely publicized, here are 10 lesser-known facts about the case. 1. The initial 911 call was misleading. After the murder, the brothers made a frantic 911 call. Erik Menendez can be heard screaming, "Somebody killed my parents!" which initially led investigators to consider the killings as part of a mob hit or a robbery gone wrong. 2. The brothers spent lavishly after the murders. In the months following their parents' murders, Lyle and Erik spent exorbitantly on luxury items, including designer clothes, watches, and even businesses. Lyle bought a Porsche, and Erik hired a tennis coach. Their spending raised suspicions. 3. The confession came during therapy. Erik Menendez confessed to his psychologist, Dr. Jerome Oziel, about the murders. Dr. Oziel secretly taped the sessions. His ex-girlfriend later tipped off authorities about the confessions, which became crucial evidence in the trial. 4. Their parents were allegedly abusive. One of the most shocking defenses presented during the trial was that the brothers claimed their father, Jose Menendez, was sexually abusive, and their mother, Kitty Menendez, was emotionally abusive. They said the murders were a result of years of mistreatment and fear. 5. The trial had 2 mistrials before convictions. The Menendez brothers were tried separately but simultaneously, with different juries for each. Both trials ended in hung juries due to disagreements over whether the killings were premeditated or in response to abuse. Only in their second trial were they convicted of first-degree murder. 6. They initially got away due to lack of evidence. Despite early suspicions, the brothers were not arrested for months after the murders because there was no physical evidence linking them to the crime scene. Their confessions to Dr. Oziel were the key to breaking the case. 7. Both brothers married in prison. Despite being imprisoned for life without the possibility of parole, both Lyle and Erik got married while serving their sentences. Lyle married twice, and Erik married his wife, Tammy Sackerman, in 1999. 8. Lyle wore a wig. During the trial, Lyle Menendez wore a toupee throughout the trial, which was revealed by his defense attorney. This detail was used to show how controlling and image-conscious his father was, allegedly forcing Lyle to wear the wig to hide his baldness. 9. They were sent to separate prisons. Lyle and Erik were kept in separate prisons for over 20 years after their conviction. It wasn't until 2018 that they were reunited and allowed to live in the same facility, housed at Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego. 10. Pop culture influence and renewed interest. The Menendez brothers' case has resurfaced multiple times in popular culture, including TV shows, documentaries, and internet communities. A TikTok movement in 2021 garnered renewed interest in the case, with many users expressing sympathy for the brothers' claims of abuse. These facts highlight some of the complexities and lesser-known details of the infamous Menendez brothers case, which continues to be discussed decades later. Top 10 facts about Jose Menendez. Jose Menendez, the father of Lyle and Erik Menendez, was a successful and wealthy entertainment executive who became infamous after his murder at the hands of his 2 sons. While much attention has been focused on the Menendez brothers' trial and their claims of abuse, Jose's life and personality are less discussed. Here are 10 lesser-known facts about him. 1. He was a Cuban immigrant. Jose Menendez was born in Havana, Cuba, in 1944. His family fled to the U.S. when Fidel Castro came to power, seeking a better life in the wake of political instability in Cuba. His immigrant background played a major role in shaping his ambitious, driven nature. 2. He was a college tennis star. Before entering the business world, Jose was a standout athlete. He attended Southern Illinois University on a tennis scholarship, which helped him build connections in the U.S. It was there he met Mary Louise "Kitty" Anderson, who would later become his wife. 3. He was known for his ruthless ambition. Jose was widely recognized for his intense ambition and ruthless business approach. He rapidly climbed the corporate ladder, working for major companies like Hertz, RCA, and later, Live Entertainment. Colleagues and acquaintances often described him as someone who would do anything to succeed. 4. He was instrumental in the success of Live Entertainment. As the CEO of Live Entertainment, Jose was key in helping the company acquire and distribute various films and music properties. Under his leadership, the company handled the video distribution of major films, including the Rambo series, which earned millions. 5. He was involved in controversial business practices. There were rumors that Jose was involved in controversial business deals during his time at Live Entertainment. Allegedly, he had a reputation for bending or breaking rules to secure high-profile deals, adding to the tension in both his professional and personal life. 6. He was extremely controlling. According to both of his sons and others who knew the family, Jose was highly controlling and domineering, especially when it came to his children's lives. This included decisions about their education, appearance, and even their personal relationships. 7. His marriage to Kitty was troubled. Behind their affluent lifestyle, Jose's marriage to Kitty Menendez was reportedly fraught with tension and emotional distance. There were allegations of infidelity on Jose's part, which, coupled with his controlling nature, contributed to Kitty's deepening depression. 8. He allegedly had a volatile temper. Several accounts from both family members and business associates describe Jose as having a volatile temper. His sons claimed during the trial that they feared his violent outbursts, which were a major part of their defense. 9. He was estranged from some of his family. Jose's drive for success reportedly caused a rift between him and some of his extended family. His relentless focus on work and wealth led to a strained relationship with relatives who felt he had become distant and arrogant after achieving his success. 10. He allegedly planned to disinherit his sons. One of the most intriguing claims that emerged during the trial was that Jose had allegedly planned to disinherit his sons. This claim was used by the prosecution to show that the Menendez brothers had a financial motive for the murders, as they stood to lose out on their father's fortune. These lesser-known facts about Jose Menendez paint a picture of a man whose drive for power and control deeply impacted his family, shaping the tragic circumstances that led to his murder. Top 10 facts about Kitty Menendez. Kitty Menendez, the wife of Jose Menendez and mother of Lyle and Erik Menendez, was a more private figure compared to her high-powered husband. However, her life and struggles were central to the infamous Menendez brothers case. While most of the attention focused on the claims of abuse and the sensational trial, here are 10 lesser-known facts about Kitty Menendez. 1. She was a beauty queen in her youth. Kitty, born Mary Louise Anderson, had a background in beauty pageants and was known for her good looks in her younger years. This experience contributed to her desire to maintain a picture-perfect image, something that reportedly played a role in her later emotional struggles. 2. She worked as a school teacher. Before she became a full-time homemaker and socialite, Kitty worked as an elementary school teacher. She briefly taught at a public school, but she later gave up her career to focus on her family and support her husband's rising career. 3. She struggled with depression for years. Kitty Menendez battled severe depression throughout her life, which worsened over time. Close friends and relatives have revealed that she struggled with mental health issues long before the murders, and her emotional instability became more apparent in her later years. 4. She was allegedly aware of Jose's affairs. During the trial, it was revealed that Kitty had knowledge of her husband's infidelities, which deeply affected her mental and emotional state. This likely contributed to her feelings of inadequacy and the deteriorating dynamic in their marriage. 5. She attempted suicide before the murders. Kitty reportedly attempted suicide at least once before the murders. According to some accounts, she was found in a severely depressed state in their mansion, further highlighting her fragile mental health and emotional turmoil leading up to the tragic events. 6. She was extremely image-conscious. Much like her husband, Kitty was highly concerned with appearances and the family's social status. She reportedly invested a great deal of time and energy in making sure the family appeared perfect to the outside world, often putting on a facade even though their home life was far from ideal. 7. Her relationship with Lyle and Erik was tense. Despite her outward image as a devoted mother, Kitty had a complicated relationship with both of her sons. The brothers claimed during the trial that their mother was emotionally abusive and often distant, describing her as someone who oscillated between being overbearing and completely withdrawn. 8. She was financially dependent on Jose. Though Kitty came from a relatively well-off family and had a career of her own as a teacher, she became financially dependent on Jose after they married. Her financial reliance on him may have deepened her feelings of helplessness and contributed to her emotional instability. 9. She was involved in interior design. Kitty took great pride in designing and decorating their Beverly Hills mansion. She was said to have an eye for interior design and enjoyed working on the aesthetics of their home, which became a personal passion project of hers during her years as a homemaker. 10th, her behavior in the months leading up to her death was erratic. In the months leading up to the murders, multiple accounts suggest that Kitty's behavior became increasingly erratic. Family friends noted that she was paranoid and sometimes aggressive. At one point, she even had the entire house's locks changed without telling Jose, highlighting the deep mistrust and turmoil in their relationship. These lesser-known facts about Kitty Menendez offer a more nuanced understanding of her personal struggles and the complex dynamics in the Menendez family. Her mental health issues and difficult marriage were central themes in the tragedy that unfolded. Top 10 facts about Erik Menendez. Erik Menendez, the younger of the two Menendez brothers, has often been seen as the quieter and more sensitive sibling, in contrast to his more assertive brother, Lyle. His involvement in the murder of his parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, and the subsequent trial shocked the nation. Here are 10 lesser-known facts about Erik Menendez. 1. He was a talented tennis player. Erik was a promising tennis player in his youth and was even ranked nationally as a junior tennis player. His parents, especially his father, Jose, pushed him to pursue tennis seriously, hoping he would become a professional player. Erik's tennis career was often seen as a way for Jose to fulfill his own ambitions. 2. He confessed to the murders. First, Erik Menendez was the first to confess to the murders of his parents. He revealed the crime to his psychologist, Dr. Jerome Oziel, during a therapy session, which ultimately led to the brothers' arrests after Oziel's girlfriend reported it to the police. 3. He struggled with guilt. After the murders, according to people close to Erik, he was overwhelmed with guilt after the killings. He even tried to admit his involvement to multiple people, including friends, in the weeks following the murders. This guilt reportedly weighed heavily on him, contributing to his emotional state during the trial. 4. He wrote a screenplay about a murdered family. Before the murders took place, Erik Menendez co-wrote a screenplay with a friend that eerily mirrored the crime. The screenplay was about a son who murders his wealthy parents to inherit their fortune. This detail was later brought up during the trial as evidence that the brothers had premeditated the crime. 5. He considered suicide after the murders. Erik was reportedly so racked with guilt after the murders that he considered committing suicide. He was allegedly unable to cope with the emotional fallout from the killings and struggled with intense feelings of regret and remorse. 6. He was a poet and writer. Erik developed a passion for writing while in prison. He wrote poetry and other works during his time behind bars, finding solace in creative expression. This was one way he coped with the psychological impact of his life sentence and the notoriety of the case. 7. He was the more submissive brother. Many who knew the Menendez brothers described Erik as the more sensitive and submissive of the two. While Lyle was more assertive and dominant, Erik was often perceived as more emotionally fragile and easily influenced by his older brother. This dynamic played a key role in their defense strategy during the trial. 8. He married in prison. Despite serving a life sentence, Erik Menendez married Tammy Saccoman in 1999 while in prison. Their relationship has been described as strong, and Tammy has publicly defended Erik, claiming that he has taken full responsibility for his actions. The marriage has been the subject of media fascination due to the unusual circumstances. 9. He has become an advocate for inmate rights. Over the years, Erik has become involved in advocating for inmate rights, including improved prison conditions and treatment of incarcerated individuals. His role as a long-term prisoner has given him a unique perspective on the criminal justice system, and he has worked to raise awareness about these issues. 10. He reunited with his brother, Lyle. After 22 years, Erik and Lyle Menendez were kept in separate prisons for over 2 decades after their conviction. In 2018, they were reunited at the Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego, which was an emotional moment for both brothers. This reunion allowed them to live together again after years of separation. These facts provide insight into Erik Menendez's personality, struggles, and life both before and after the murders. His emotional complexity, guilt, and artistic expression have added layers to public perception of him in this tragic and infamous case. Top 10 facts about Lyle Menendez. Lyle Menendez, the older of the 2 brothers convicted for the murders of their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, has often been viewed as the more dominant sibling. While much has been revealed about the brothers' lives and the infamous trial, there are many lesser-known details about Lyle. Here are 10 unknown or lesser-known facts about Lyle Menendez. 1. He wore a toupee from a young age. Lyle began losing his hair as a teenager and wore a toupee to hide his baldness. This fact was revealed during the trial and became a point of discussion because Lyle's father, Jose, allegedly forced him to wear the toupee to maintain a perfect image. The wig symbolized the control his father exerted over him, according to the defense. 2. He attended Princeton University. Lyle Menendez was accepted to Princeton University in 1986, largely due to his father's influence and wealth. However, his time at the prestigious university was short-lived. He was suspended after being accused of plagiarism, an event that embarrassed his father and increased family tensions. 3. He was an entrepreneur before the murders. After being kicked out of Princeton, Lyle tried his hand at entrepreneurship. With financial backing from his father, he invested in various ventures, including a rock concert series and a restaurant chain. These business ventures were part of his attempt to prove himself outside his father's shadow, but none were particularly successful. 4. He was involved in several thefts. Before the murders, Lyle had a history of delinquency before the murders. As a teenager, he was involved in several burglaries with his younger brother, Erik. They once stole $100,000 in jewelry from a friend's home, and their father had to intervene to keep the matter from escalating legally. This delinquent behavior was part of the tension between the brothers and their parents. 5. He was the more assertive of the two brothers. Many accounts, including those from the trial, suggest that Lyle was the more dominant and assertive sibling. He was seen as the one who took charge, while Erik was considered more submissive. This dynamic played a significant role in their defense, with some portraying Lyle as the mastermind behind the murders. 6. He married twice while in prison. Lyle Menendez has been married twice since his incarceration. He first married Anna Eriksson in 1996, a former model, but the marriage ended in divorce after she discovered he had been corresponding with other women. He later married Rebecca Sneed, a magazine editor, in 2003, and they remain married to this day. Both marriages have drawn significant media attention due to the circumstances. 7. He initially enjoyed a lavish lifestyle after the murders. Following the murders of their parents, Lyle and Erik embarked on a lavish spending spree with their inheritance. Lyle purchased a Rolex watch, a Porsche, and multiple luxury items. He also invested in businesses and spent large sums of money on real estate, raising suspicion among investigators about the brothers' financial motives. 8. He took up gardening and counseling in prison. Lyle has made efforts to better himself while serving his life sentence. He became interested in gardening and helped with landscaping projects within the prison. He has also taken up a role as a mentor and counselor to other inmates, working with those serving long-term sentences to help them adjust to prison life. 9. He believes the media misrepresented him. Lyle has repeatedly claimed that the media portrayed him inaccurately during the trial and aftermath of the case. He has expressed that he was painted as a ruthless and greedy individual, while in reality, he sees himself as a person who was deeply traumatized by years of alleged abuse from his father. Lyle has spoken out about feeling misrepresented and misunderstood by the public. 10. He and Erik reunited in prison. After 22 years, Lyle and Erik were separated for more than 2 decades after their conviction, with each serving their sentence in different prisons. In 2018, they were finally reunited at the Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego. Their reunion was an emotional moment for both brothers, as they had not seen each other since their sentencing. These facts reveal the complexity of Lyle Menendez's character, offering insight into his early life, personality, and how he has adjusted to life behind bars. His role as the more assertive brother and his relationships post-trial continue to shape public perception of him. Thanks for watching, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell to ensure you never miss a video.